Hi folks, G3 here, and welcome to another instalment of my journey to go green. Well folks, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoy it, then please remember to click the like button, and also if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you get notified when I load up a new video. Right, let's get on with the video. As you may know, I've been looking at getting an electric vehicle, EV. Last week I posted a video asking the simple question, which car do you think I'm going to be getting? I listed a few that I've been looking at and a bit of research behind them, and asked you to let me know what you thought I'd be going for. Well, thanks to everybody who responded. I would say the majority of people thought it was going to be an MG5, because obviously I test drove that at an early stage, and lots of people have seen that and knew that I thought it was a really good value car. So, was it that? Well, I'm going to count down the different choices in reverse order until we get to the one that I've actually chosen and we'll be picking up next week. So let's start the countdown. So number 9, and the first one I discounted from the list, a used Volkswagen Golf. Now I thought that the pros for this one were that it could be picked up for a reasonable price. You could get them with the reversing camera. The size of the car was pretty good. It's round about just over 4 meters, 4.2 meters by roughly 2 meters wide. But the things that put me off, the efficiency, the size of the battery and the range is likely to be around about 115 miles real world range when you average it over the various different driving conditions. Also, the performance isn't that great. The 0 to 60 is around about 9.6 seconds, which is okay, but it's not wonderful. And also, being a used car, the warranty probably wouldn't be all that great. You might get maybe 3 months, maybe, perhaps, something like that. Not huge. Depended really whether you bought it private or through a garage. So I discounted the Volkswagen Golf. So there are 8 remaining. And the next one that I discounted was getting a brand new Fiat 500 La Prima. That would have been priced around about £27,000 once you take into account the government grant. The pros for this, well, size. It's round about 3.6 metres long and about 1.8 metres wide, so that would be perfect outside my house. I also like the fact that you could get it with the reversing camera, which is something else I wanted to enable me to be able to park easily outside. But the cons with that car, obviously the price. It's quite a bit for a small car. The space, it is a tiny car, so there's not a huge amount of space, especially in the boot, and I do need to carry around quite a bit. I play hockey, so there's a lot of equipment I need to carry for that, and yeah, I need a bit of space. Performance wasn't great with this one, 0 to 60, 9 seconds, so it's okay, but not wonderful. The battery, 37 kilowatt hours for the larger one, not great, which meant that the anticipated range, average range, according to EV database, is likely to be 135 miles. So not wonderful. It's okay, but not wonderful. So although I quite like the look of the car and the fact it was small, I discounted that one because it wasn't going to be the best for me. Next on the list that I discounted, a Renault Zoe Play, the R110. Now a new one was priced at around about £27,000 again once you take into account the £3,000 government grant in the UK. The pros for this were really strong. You've got a reasonable sized battery of 52 kilowatt hours. The range therefore is going to be around about 195 miles on average. I know it'll be less in more trying conditions, and it could be more if you're driving efficiently. With all of these, I'm taking the same benchmark of the average and gauging with that. So 195 miles average for this Renault Zoe. The price I thought was pretty good. It's not bad for the amount of car you're getting. The size of the car, it's okay. 4 meters roughly by 2 meters, so not too bad. Insurance was low for this, so that's a positive in its favour. But the reasons that I discounted this one, I consider it unexciting. It's not, it's not a particularly exciting car. The performance, the 0 to 60, 11.4 seconds. Not great. And yeah, it just didn't appeal to me. Number 6, a Tesla Model 3. Now you can pick these up for £42,000 roughly new, £37,000 used. I know it's probably a little bit less than that new, maybe 41 and a half, something like that. It's an awful lot of money, and I couldn't justify spending that much money on a car. Personally, I mean, you might be able to, but I personally couldn't. The battery at 50 kilowatt hours is pretty good, nice size. Should allow for around about 210 miles. The warranty of 4 years warranty of the battery and drive unit get 8 years, so that's pretty good. That's a positive in my mind. The car's very efficient, equally, that's a really good positive, and obviously it's got the camera, the reversing camera, it's got a 5-star NCAP rating, and the performance is fantastic. 0 to 60 in 5.6 seconds. They're all really good features, but the negatives, the price, the size of the car, it's quite a big car, 4.7 meters by 2 meters. I've seen a few occurrences from people showing how the boot leaks. It's a bad design, that when you open it, the water is just running off into it and they're getting very wet. That concerns me. And the insurance group 48 for the starting one. So those are the negatives of it. But the key thing here for me was the price. I couldn't justify spending that much on the car, although it looks very nice. But so I've discounted the Tesla Model 3. Number 5, a used Hyundai Kona. I'd seen them available for 25,000, which seemed pretty good to me. From what I could see with the pros, the battery, 64 kilowatt hours, nice size battery. It gives you a range of around about 245 miles. It's a very efficient car. It comes with the camera, the reversing camera, the particular one that I was looking at, which was great. Size-wise, not too bad. 4.2 meters by 2 meters, so that's not too bad. Very safe, it's got a 5-star NCAP rating, and the performance was okay. 0 to 60 in 7.9 seconds, which wasn't bad. So that's why I was considering this car. But the things that put me off it, because it's a used car, the warranty wouldn't be great, so there would be potentially issues coming up there. Weighed against the price of the car, I didn't think it was right for me. At number 4, the next one that I discounted, an MG ZS EV. You can get those for 25.5 new for the Excite version, but I would have to be looking at the exclusive because I wanted the camera. So that came in at 28,000 if you include the grant, the government grant. Now, the really good things about this car are that it is very safe. It's got a 5-star NCAP rating, and that's because a lot of the features that it's got on there, so the lane departure, the various bits and pieces that it's got there to help from the safety perspective. It's got a lot of space in the car, that's really good. It's got reasonable performance. The 0 to 60 is 8.2, which I think is pretty sprightly for the size of the car. Obviously I talked about the exclusive having the camera. Comes with a good warranty, so that's 7 years, 80,000 miles for the battery and anti-perforation, but it's got 3 years on the paint, so they're not quite so sure about the paint there, it seems. But it's still a reasonable size warranty. The car itself is 4.3 meters by 2 meters, so not a bad size. But the things that I didn't like about this car, the quality of the interior, it's not bad, but it strikes me as being a little bit on the cheap side. I mean, that's how they get the price of the car down, so I'm not knocking it, but personally, that's one of the things I held against it. The size of the battery. It means that the range is only 135 miles on average, according to the EV database. It's okay, but because I'm not going to be able to charge at home, and I'm going to have to charge out and about, it wasn't enough for me. Also, one thing to hold against it is that the really good trade-in offer for the scrappage scheme is finished at the moment. I mean, I'm sure that will come back, but that's one thing that I was considering. It meant that the car was a little bit dearer than I could have had it a while back. So the kind of cars that are remaining at the moment that I was looking at was with the Tesla, the Model S, a used one, the Hyundai Ioniq, a used one, and also getting a new MG5 EV. Now it's the MG5 that a lot of people that were thinking that it was going to be. Were you right? So the next thing that I discounted from my list, MG5 EV, I discounted it. That might come as a surprise to some, but it's off the list. The real pros for this one obviously were the price. 24,500 roughly once you take into account the government grant. That's for the Excite version. It's also got a good sized battery, which gives it a reasonable range of 175 miles. That's good, I like that. And obviously it's got a lot of space. It was roughly 1,500 litres with the bits and pieces down, loads of space there, that was good. The performance also very sprightly, 0 to 60 in 7.7 seconds, which I think is really, really good. Obviously it's got the reversing camera, which is something that I wanted. The warranty, pretty good. It's got 7 years, 80,000 miles, battery and anti-perforation, and 3 years on the paint. So they're not quite so sure on the paint again, but the rest of it, the warranty is pretty good. So those were the pros, and there was a lot going for it. But the things that weren't quite there, again, the quality of the interior, it's fine, but I'm not sure how long lasting it's going to be. The trade-in finished. The opportunity to scrap my car, which is very old, scrap that car and get some money off, that had gone. The safety features, I don't think it's been rated in Europe yet, but certainly in China it's got 4 stars, the Chinese NCAP rating. I think predominantly because it doesn't have the same features that the ZS EV has in it, so things like the lane departure, the speed detection, all those kind of things. I think they all add up to it. So actually I've discounted it. Lovely car, but I found an alternative. And at number 2, and giving away the game about the EV that I have actually gone for, at number 2 it is a second-hand Hyundai Ioniq, 28 kilowatt. I had a look at this for around about £14,000, you could get them upwards, and great value for that money, really good value I think. The car has amazing efficiency, the Hyundai Ioniq. There's a good amount of space in there for fitting bits and pieces. It comes with the reversing camera. It's an okay size of car, it's 4.5 metres by 2 metres. It's got a 5-star NCAP safety rating, so that's all great, really good. But the negatives about it that I just couldn't get over. The size of the battery, it's 28 kilowatt hours in the older version, which means the range on average is about 115 miles. It's just not enough for me, unfortunately. If I was charging at home, it would have been a real contender, but I can't. I can only charge out and about, so I've got to go for something that's got enough mileage on it. The performance, it's okay, 0 to 60 in 9.9 seconds, not the best, so I think I would have been a bit disappointed with that. And of course, being a second-hand car, it wouldn't really come with a warranty, so it wasn't something that I could eventually go for, especially when I saw what was available with my chosen car. So, as you've already guessed, the EV that I am actually going for, and will be picking up next weekend, is a second-hand Tesla Model S. I never thought that I'd be getting one. I really had no idea that I would ever be able to afford this car with all of the amazing features that it's got. It's a Tesla Model S 85, so it's around about 5 years old. It's not the dual motor or the performance version, it is just the S85. So what that means is it's got an 85 kilowatt hour battery. Usable is about 80 kilowatt hours, which gives it a range of round about 245 miles in theory. Obviously that is going to vary depending on conditions, usage and the like. It has a great efficiency, it's got amazing safety features, it's got 5-star NCAP safety rating because of all of the amazing safety features that it's got with it. Performance is phenomenal, 0 to 60 is I think 5.6 seconds, but I think it's actually faster when people have been doing tests. And things that would obviously go against this that I held and really did consider was the price. It's a lot of money. The size of the car, I know that size was an important factor, but I've actually gone against that. This car is about 5 metres by 2.1 metres wide, so bigger than any of the other ones that I looked at. But I have the good fortune of working from home. So at any point, if I am out and can't park easily outside, there are areas I can park the car and then just move it during the day. Once I start work, I can just move it down there, no problem whatsoever, and get the space that I need. So it's really not going to be a problem for me. It is a high insurance group. It is the highest insurance group. It's group 50. But I'm old, and I've been very safe driving. I've got maximum no claims bonus, and I've been driving for goodness knows how long. So actually, as it turns out, the insurance, when I checked, it wasn't too bad for me. So it wasn't wildly different from other insurance that I was going to be paying. But the real thing that was swinging it for me, I'd seen one on the Tesla site that was still too expensive. It was, I think, £31,500 for this used car. And I was just monitoring it, looking at it, thinking, oh, it'd be lovely if I could get that. Wouldn't that be wonderful? But I just can't afford that. And the car stayed there for some time. And what I noticed was that Tesla were dropping the price roughly £300 every 2 days. So the longer it stayed on there, it was dropping £300 every 2 days. And it stayed on there. And it stayed on there. And people weren't buying it. And it dropped and dropped and dropped. And then at one point, it did go. I think somebody had gone and put down a deposit for it and then didn't complete on it. But it came back. About a week later, I saw it was back there at the same price, and it dropped and dropped and dropped until it got to roughly £28,500. Still an awful lot of money. Yes, it is an awful lot of money for a car. I do get that, but it was in the same kind of price bracket that I was looking at for a new electric vehicle, the MG5, the MG ZS EV, and the Fiat. They would have all come in around about that level. So that was good that the price had dropped, but it reached a point where Tesla weren't dropping it any further. I think it had reached the sweet spot where it was the absolute minimum that they were going to put it. And then they started increasing the warranty. So it went up to a 4-year warranty, and it had 2 years on the battery and drive unit. So instead of lowering the price, they've gone and improved the proposition. So it now is a car that has an equivalent warranty to some of the other cars that I've been looking at. And so I've got that peace of mind that although it is 5 years old now, it's done 72,000 miles roughly. I know that it's been well looked after by Tesla before I've got it. They've also given it the security of that long warranty. So I've got the peace of mind there, and I'm looking long term for this. So I've worked out my finances for keeping the car long term, and I did that with all of the cars that I was looking at. I worked out the finances for how much it was going to cost me, how much it was going to cost to run, the insurance, savings on tax compared to before, the savings on the fuel that I wouldn't be using with my, I've got a Peugeot 207 petrol car at the moment, and I looked at the difference there. And yes, this is going to cost me a couple of £1,000s a year in the time that I've got it. But I think that's worth it, personally, because I haven't been comfortable driving a petrol car for a long time. I've really been uncomfortable doing that, and I wanted to get an electric car. I also know that now that I'm getting this car, it's one that I am going to be extremely keen on driving. I'm going to get a lot of use out of it. It's going to make my driving more comfortable, effortless, and I'm going to want to keep it and keep it well for a long period of time. So all of the things worked out really well for me. I was extremely surprised. I really didn't think that I would ever get something like this that is, I mean, these were extortionately expensive, new, but because it's 5 years old, it's come down and down. I think because of the market at the moment, people weren't buying, that pushed the price down even further. And also Tesla then wanted to go and push up the warranty on it, which meant it was a good proposition for me. So I will be picking up a nice red Tesla Model S 85, 5 years old, and I'm going to be picking it up next Saturday, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. So thank you everyone for following me on the journey to find the car in the first place, and hopefully you'll want to follow me on the rest of the journey as I get used to using the Model S and bits and pieces that I can share about purchasing a second-hand one, and see whether it's the right thing for you to do, or go through the process and see about other cars that could be good for you. So there you have it, folks. It's going to be a Tesla Model S 85. Well, thanks for watching the video, folks. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, then please remember, click the like button so that YouTube knows you liked it and it will share it with more people. And also, if you haven't done so already, then please subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you get notified when I load up a new video. I'm going to be loading up loads of new ones around EVs, specifically my time in the Tesla Model S. So hopefully you'll find those interesting and useful. So please subscribe and click the bell icon. Well, thanks a lot, folks. I really appreciate you watching. Until next time, bye.